What's going on, guys? In this training video, I'll be going over how to accept payment for your agency. Now, I know, a lot of you might be thinking, well, Ian, I already know probably how to accept payment. It's kind of not brain science. I get that. I just wanted to touch on it for those of you. There's like a couple different ways I want to go over. Actually, a little bit more in a couple different ways I want to go over that you guys can get payment for your agency. Of course, there's, cash. And, well, let's just dive in, guys. So, how to get paid for your agency, how to collect payment. So, got my man George right here collecting payments. Got these $100 bills raining on him. Of course, you guys aren't going to have $100 bills raining on you like that. Probably different ways of $100 bills raining on you. But anyway, let's dive in. Ways to get paid. So, first one I want to go over, cash or check. That's the first way you guys can get paid. That's more of like a in-person transaction. That other one is going to be an invoice. Normally, an invoice you guys will be using maybe Stripe or PayPal, but sending an invoice directly via email to your potential client or already client if you're getting another payment. Another way is a wire transfer. Now, these are normally bigger transactions. You're not really going to do a wire transfer probably for less than about $20,000. So you're talking big jobs, maybe contract jobs. So some of you might not even be doing wire transfers. The other one, guys, that I'll be going over is through a sales funnel. And some of you might be like, well, why would I want to? Well, there's a couple of different benefits. So first one, cash or a check. Now I'm going to kind of go through this with pros and cons kind of section. It's going to be super short. It's not going to be super in depth. You guys kind of will be able to understand this stuff. But pros of cash or check. Well, you get it in person. You get the money in person, so you can see, boom, you've got $1,000 that they just paid you. You see it. It's physically in your hand, or you have a physical check in your hand. You pay no fees. So if somebody's going to give you a check, it's not going to be ran through a processor, payment process, or a wire transfer fee. So you're not going to have any of these fees. And it's an instant payment. You can, depending on your bank, if you have some, good standings in your bank, you should be able to deposit it. Now, depending on the amount in the bank, should be able to deposit it and get an instant payment. Or, if you have cash, you've got, instant payment right there. So those are some pros when it comes to cash or check. Now, some cons are if paying month to month, you'll have to always collect payments. So what I mean by this is you're going to kind of always have to chase, always have to call, always have to follow up. And it might be annoying. And I've seen it happen before, and it's happened with me to the point to where you're always trying to get paid, and you kind of have to put off the work until they're paying you. And, so you're not doing all this work for free, and then they end up not even paying you. So, that's a kind of a con when it comes to that. And when you're in person, it may cause the potential client to try to negotiate price, or maybe say, oh, I don't have enough this month or whatever, and you might not always get the full amount. So that might not happen with the type of clients you're working with, but I've seen it happen. I've heard about it happening, so it is going to be a con in my opinion. So that's kind of the pros and cons when it comes to cash or check. There might be some more pros, there might be some more cons, but those are the ones I wanted to kind of touch on. The next one is going to be invoices through PayPal or Stripe. It's really easy to set up a Stripe business account. You do need a business bank account. You do need an LLC. It's easy to set up a PayPal business account. Same thing. You need a business bank account. You need an EIN number from actually having an LLC. So make sure if you guys are going to want to send invoices, you do have your business set up correctly. The pros about this is it takes about 2 minutes for you to be able to create and send an invoice directly to your potential client. They look super professional. That's another thing. You look way more professional. They even have your logo at the top. You can design these invoices however you want, and it's super easy. You send them, and they can just pay directly through with wire transfer, with credit card, debit card, a routing number, banking account information. So it's super easy. it's easy to track. So when it comes to you actually having to dive through, and look how much money you've made. When you're sending invoices, it's easy to track inside of your payment processing software that you'll be using, which is also a very, very, very big pro. You can see who's behind on payments, who has paid, all that good jazz, even to the point where you will get some of their, information, their address, their first and last name, maybe a bank account number or credit card number. So at that point, if you ever do decide to switch a payment, or change up a package, charge more, charge less, it's very easy to retweak, and this basically charge a customer. You don't have to send an invoice at that point. They're already basically a customer of yours. So there is some awesome pros when it comes to invoice, but there is some cons. Now, you will be paying fees depending on which process you use, different payment processor. I know Stripe right off the bat, that's the main one that I use, and it charges 2.9% every transaction plus 30 cents. So, for example, $100, it's going to take $2.90 plus another 30 cents. So that's going to end up being $3.20 that it's going to take out of my transaction of $100. So it's not too awful bad, but it will be taking a fee. Now, if you're doing millions of dollars a month, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, at that point you are going to be able to set up for a super business Stripe account and stuff like that. But just for the basic one, you will be paying a percentage and a fee. Same thing when it comes to PayPal. You will be having to pay a fee when it comes to sending invoices and collecting payments. The other kind of con, in my opinion, is it does take a couple days to clear. Now, sometimes depending on the weekend, depending on holidays, it might even take longer. And I know the first time when you're first starting out, it might take a week to a week and a half for you to actually receive your first payment. But once you start cranking in money, cranking in payments, it will continue to kind of drop back down to a couple of days. So, but in my opinion, you're not going to get the money instantly. So if you do need the funds, which hopefully you're not at the point of trying to grab client at the last minute just because you don't have money to pay your bills or whatever. Hopefully you're kind of more organized than that, but it does take a couple of days to clear and hit your bank account. So those are some pros, those are some cons. Of course, like I said, there's going to be more in with dealing with a payment processor and sending invoices and stuff. There could be a lot more pros, a lot more cons. You guys might know them, but those are the ones I wanted to go over. Now, the next thing is through a sales funnel that I wanted to go over. Now, through a sales funnel, there's a couple of pros. Some of you might be like, well, why would I want to send it through a sales funnel? Then I have to, send it through a payment processor and blah, 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 blah. Well, the main reason, in my opinion, is you can collect payments 24/7. So once you've set up a sales funnel for your agency and you have clients that have the website, maybe even if it's connected to your actual personal agency website, at that point, if any business ever stumbles upon your website, might even be cold traffic and want to purchase something, they can purchase it right then and there. You never even have to talk to them. Even when your clients want to go get payment, if you can send invoices, you can deal with check and cash, but they can actually go through your sales funnel and just buy the packages they want if they want to check it out. If you ever go through a time where you're talking with somebody on the phone and they want to see your package, or maybe even scrolling through your website, you've got it there. You can collect payments 24/7, 365 days a year. So at that point, I think that's a very big pro. You don't have to actually go type out and build out an invoice or go drive to the actual business and collect payment. You can just do everything. If you're sleeping, if you're on vacation, whatever you're doing. So in my opinion, that's a pretty big pro. The next thing is you can build up actually inside of ClickFunnels. If you're using ClickFunnels for your sales funnels, which highly recommend, and probably most of you guys, if not all of you guys are, you can build up to actually doing the 2 Comma Club plaque and the 2 Comma Club X plaque. So if you guys don't know what a 2 Comma Club plaque is, that is when you do over $1 million with a sales funnel, and that this way you can actually track and get a plaque for your agency. So if you're selling any other products, through a sales funnel, and you're going to get a Two Comma Club plaque, that's awesome. But if you want to get it through your agency, actually have the plaque. Of course, you're going to be running it through a payment processor, but at the end of the day, you'll be building up to be getting a plaque from ClickFunnels that says, hey, I did over $1 million through my agency. I've collected over $1 million, which is pretty awesome. And then the Two Comma Club X is doing over $10 million through a sales funnel. So I'm a marketer, and I know I'm kind of like, I like competition, and I like to chase for kind of goals and rewards. And this is, my eyes, one of the biggest rewards when it comes to dealing with ClickFunnels. You can get these plaques, and it just, it's more of a just, wow, I actually did something. I've done over $1 million through a sales funnel. I've had a business do over $10 million. So, that's a pro in my opinion. Some people might be like, I don't care about a plaque, but that's a pro in my opinion. And you can also have all these different packages, all these different pricing, everything built out. So where, again, when it's running 24/7, somebody can go through, somebody can click on a payment, click on a package, click on multiple packages, whatever, and they can basically buy right then and there. So that's in my opinion, a very big pro. But again, we do have cons, and with the cons is it does setting up at first when you're building out a whole sales funnel, connecting your payment processor, connecting, follow-up emails to your funnel, this, that, everything together, building the products. It does take a little while to set up. So in my opinion, that is kind of a con. If you're trying to get a payment right then and there, and have like a client that's ready to go, I highly recommend getting check or cash, or even possibly, going just with sending them an invoice. Invoice is probably the best bet. You can send it to them in 2 minutes. You do have to deal with the fee, but even through a sales funnel, you have to deal with the fee. So, it takes a little bit to set it all up at first. Even if you know how to build sales funnels, it's going to take you 30 minutes, an hour to set everything up. Now, if you're setting it up from scratch, you have to build, your payment processor, make the accounts, connect, build a sales funnel, all this, add products. It might take longer. So, again, that is a con in my opinion. Also, when you do it through a sales funnel, it does go through a payment processor. So again, you are getting hit with fees. That's a con, but it does take a couple days to clear as well, just like if you're going with an invoice, because it is going through a payment processor. So those are, the pros and cons, in my opinion, of going through a sales funnel. Of course, you guys might have more, you might have less, but those are the ones that I wanted to cover. And the last one, real quick, is going to be wire transfer. I hope every single one of you guys to get to the point of dealing with wire transfers to the point where you're doing more higher ticket clients. You're not going to get somebody wire transfer for $1,500 probably. At that point, you can do an invoice, but I might be wrong. Don't hold me against that. But this is basically, you just send your client your account information, your account number, and they can basically wire transfer it. Immediately, they'll get hit with a fee. And it can take up to like 24 hours to get to your account. So that is kind of a con, and I'm going to go into that in a second. But you just send them your account information, boom, they can put in the amount of money they want to, transfer it right over, and there you go. It looks more professional too, in my opinion. For certain things, you can be on the go, just boom, here's my account number, send it to them. It looks more professional, especially when you're dealing with high ticket clients. You're either going to probably be doing wire transfers, building out some sort of contract, and doing invoices. So you look more professional. It'll go straight into your bank account, whichever account number that you want. The only con, like I did say, there is fees. So depending on the fees, it might be, $10, $15. It might go all the way to like $30, $35. It might even be more depending on the amount, but it depends on the bank, but you will be paying a fee, which is a con. And also, it takes up to about 24 hours to clear in a wire transfer. So if you do want the money instant, unfortunately, you won't be able to get it instant. It might hit your account in a couple hours, but it could take up to 24 hours to clear. And, a con, a con that I thought about would be, normally it's for bigger clients. So if this might be an option that you're thinking about, but you're not at the bigger client level, you might not want to use this. So in my opinion, it kind of is a con because it kind of puts the limit away. You can still use this, don't get me wrong, but when it comes on paying a little bit of a bigger fee, that might be an issue. And also, some clients might not want to wire transfer when it comes to being smaller amounts, depending on their banks. So those are some pros. Those are some cons when it comes to wire transfer. Now we've dived into all the different topics of how to collect payment with your agency. Of course, there might be some more ways you can collect payment with different apps on your phone and mobile payment, all this other stuff. But those are the basic ones that you'll be using. The main ones I do feel like you guys are going to be using is going to be in-person cash or check. Main one's probably going to be sending invoices, and then also through a sales funnel. Now, at the point you guys do higher ticket clients, you guys might be jumping into wire transfers, but that is literally going to be it, guys. That's diving into how to accept payment for your agency.